Hi again. I made this video very short, somewhat repetitive, and 100% biblical. I am going to do little more than simply summarize what the passages on the screen say in relation to the subject at hand. This video was made specifically for those who believe in the rapture of the church and yet are still unaware that all Christians should be date setters here at the very end of the world before Jesus comes to catch away his bride. So without further ado, shortly beforehand, Noah was told by God exactly the day the flood would start. This is how it will be just before Jesus comes. The wicked world will not know Jesus is about to come and certainly won't expect the exact time the thief in the night will come. Meanwhile, the righteous will know shortly beforehand the specific time the rapture will happen, just as Noah did. Jonah knew and declared the exact time of Nineveh's threatened judgment shortly beforehand. The sons of the prophets in multiple cities and Elisha knew ahead of time which day the Lord would rapture away Elijah. So it is definitely a thing. In fact, there is no secret which the Lord does not reveal ahead of time to his servants the prophets. Jesus was a prophet and a servant of God. The Bible explicitly says so. And though there was indeed a time when Jesus did not know the day and hour of the rapture, in fact, back in 32 AD, no man knew just when the rapture would happen. The disciples were told to keep watchful for it and be ready at all times because the rapture would someday happen at an exact time they did not then anticipate. Jesus told them that it was not for them to know the times or the seasons. This was not relevant to their specific ministry in that day. After all, of course, you and I today are obviously not the 12 apostles back then, and what is relevant to us today may be a bit different than what was relevant to the original apostles back in the first century. Anyway, there is no question that as God enthroned, one with the Father, Jesus, who currently upholds the universe, including all space everywhere, and all time, past, present, and future, by the word of his power, now knows exactly what day and hour he will come to rapture his church. For there is indeed a day appointed that the Father has always known. And guess who is already seated with Jesus in heavenly places? We saints are. It stands to reason that we can now learn ahead of time with Jesus when exactly the rapture will happen. Jesus told us it is the wicked servant who is not expecting the correct day and hour of his Lord's return ahead of time. It is the unwatchful church called by Jesus to repent, which is in danger of Jesus coming at a precise time they do not correctly anticipate. Jesus strongly warned us against allowing that specific day of the rapture to come as a surprise. This means we are supposed to correctly expect that specific day ahead of time. If you would like to call this date setting, I am okay with that. We are to watch for the purpose of discovering ahead of time just what hour the thief in the night will come, because this exact hour is not something we naturally begin our Christian experience understanding. We are to look for it and find it. We are to be learning to number our remaining days until Jesus returns. We are to be looking for the specific day of the rapture. Jesus will be coming specifically for those who are so looking. The only way to truly look for anything is to form a specific expectation, for reasons, about just where it may be found, and then check that place for it. Date setting is where one forms an expectation of just when the rapture will occur based on good evidence, and then the passage of time bears out whether or not the expectation formed was correct. Of course, even though an item looked for may not be found after several expectations and disappointing checks, we all know not to apologize for actually looking in this way, but to instead keep doing the same, forming a better expectation and checking again, until we find it. Revelation 3:3 clearly implies that if we are watching correctly just before Jesus returns, we will know ahead of time the specific time that he will come. Finally, 1 Thessalonians 5:2-6 tells us that while those in darkness are saying there will be peace and safety on the day that will turn out to be the day that Jesus comes like a thief, those who are not in darkness will not experience Jesus coming on that day as a surprise. That day will not overtake them as a thief, doubtless because they are expecting the rapture on that very day. I am fully persuaded that we simply must understand all this if we are going to be a sober watcher and not a drunk sleeper. As you can see, the Bible tells us so. I would invite you to watch this video again, taking note of the verses so that you can consider and pray over these more carefully in your own time. Also, please share this personally with all those Christians you believe need to be made aware.